And welcome back to another wonderful live edition of the RSG Lunch Stream. Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Hump Day, it's Wednesday. Glad to have you here. Thinking about everybody down in the Carolinas and stuff in my neck of the woods because this giganticus, enormous hurricanus kick your asses is on its way. So I'm kind of watching and everything. So I hope everybody that's in the path of this thing that are fans of ours get the hell out of Dodge. This is not a joke. This is not something you want to ride out. This is not something you want to hang around for and see if you can tough it out. It ain't worth it. So please be safe. Get the hell out of Dodge. That being said, welcome to the lunch stream. We're going to bring you some quality live entertainment here for the next hour or so. We'll do a roster review. We'll joke around. We'll answer some of your questions. If you do have questions, go ahead and get those questions in. Make sure you put the word question in front of your question so we can make sure that we do scoop it up properly. And the one scooping those questions up is not only the master of gingivitis himself, the soulless one, Sanely Red's here.
Hey, I'm here, but unfortunately I'm not going to be on the Wednesday night streams for indefinitely because of my work schedule changed.
That's right. He has to take care of real life stuff, but we'll still have him around for the lunch stream, so you guys can make fun of him here. Also, somebody you love to make fun of is, of course, the troll extraordinaire, Dr. Finn Medicine Woman.
I won't be on any of the streams anymore just because I'm lazy.
We all know that's a bunch of baloney. Also joining us is, of course, the one and only Grim the Mechanic.
Hashtag I blame Finn.
That word? Let's get that going on Twitter. And then last we have for our roster review, we have our special guest, Mr. Perks.
What up, what up, what up?
Long-time RSG listener and stuff, and it is his turn for his roster review today, and by golly, we're going to do it. And my phone's going crazy. You know, son of a... Hold on a second. No. There you go. Thank you. I'd like to see the chat live. Thank you. All right. Let's just get into it. Let's get into this roster review, shall we? All right. We've got Mr. Perks' profile up, and he is in the Alliance Empire. So shout out to kudos to you guys. Let's see here. Well, we've got Perks on here. Usually I just ask Finn what he's looking for. So, Mr. Perks, what can we help you with your roster today?
So typically, like, I guess the first thing that I want to look at is Heroic Sith. I'm averaging between 2 and 3 million to get into the top 10.
Why not Arena?
I know. I was looking at his arena too. I'm all,
here. Do you just not arena or?
Well, we can look at it. It's the arena push. My account is one unique one. I originally had a guest account that I spent 3 months trying to port over, and finally CG helped me do that because EA is a bunch of idiots.
Of course.
So finally I got somebody over at CG that was able to port over my guest account into a proper real account that's connected to my iCloud, and they kind of like threw me in a shard that I should not be in. So I am kind of happy where I'm at. I don't think I'll ever make it up into the top, I made it into the top 100.
Not with that attitude, young man.
Yeah. And considering that in my shard, everybody has a 7-star Treya, double zated, and I'm not even close to getting her, I think it's a little off. The only way I'll get in there is if I kind of like whale out on something and use that.
Well, you don't necessarily need to well out, but, let's look at, if we can at least get you to the top 100, that would be a big improvement, right?
Yeah, that'd be huge. If you guys have any ideas and...
Well, we're going to look at your roster overall, so let's see what we can come up with. You got the Sith and Ness. Oh, for God's sakes, Finn, just say what you want to say, Jesus. God.
Your mods are all over the place.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Okay, so we need to figure out your team. So starting first, you said you don't have Treya yet. Where are you in terms of getting her?
I am 48 of 145.
Okay, so when you asked us about Heroic Sith, your guild is doing Heroic Sith. You aren't looking to help them kind of break through. You're already at the point where it's on farm.
Right, it's already on farm. So my goal is to break into like the top 10. So, and to get into the top 10 in my guild, I just need to I think like 8 million will get me in there.
Okay.
Into the top 10.
All right. So, looking at your team, okay, so even if they have a 7-star double Zeta Traya, right? Emperor Palpatine lead with a 5-star Traya is enough. I'm telling you right now, that's enough to beat that team. So you don't have to worry about the fact that they're 7-star and double Zeta and all that kind of stuff. Just focus on playing a team that's a counter to Traya. And the easiest counter is Emperor Palpatine lead with the Triumvirate, and then either Thrawn or Enfys. And I like Thrawn a little bit better because you get a little more control with the Fractor. You can go Enfys too. Either one of them works, but you need one of those two.
Well, you can put Thrawn and Enfys in that team. You can go Emperor Palpatine, Scion, Nihilus, Enfys, and Thrawn and really wreak havoc and kick some ass, especially on offense.
So if you do that on offense, though, your Enfys needs to be faster than their team, and it depends on what they're running.
Well,
so that's always
depends on his mods.
Yeah. So we have to look at your mods, but I'm guessing your mods won't be high enough. Just looking at them, you don't have bad mods, but if you're on a shard that has a bunch of whales and they're 7-star Traya and all that kind of stuff, your Enfys won't be fast enough. So
I don't know. He's got some really good speed secondary mods that
used to be good before slicing.
Well, they're still good.
Well, they're not as good anymore. Too many people are, especially the whales, are slicing like crazy, and they have full sets of above 20, and some of them have even above 25, like full sets. Because you can basically farm materials, like if you do all the refreshes and stuff with the mod energy, to do like 2 or 3 mods a day that you can slice. So your mods aren't bad. Don't get me wrong. They're good mods. They're solid. We can put them on your arena team. The problem is with the current environment, they're not going to be high enough for the most part for your Enfys to always be faster. Now, they may be faster than some of the people as you're rising, and if our goal is top 100, you should be fine. If you're trying to get a little bit higher, like top 50 or something, then we may need to reconsider. But looking at your mods, they're not bad. We need to focus them a little bit more to get you where you need to. But you're looking at an Emperor Palpatine lead team as a counter to Traya.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Emperor Palpatine, you have Vader. Vader would be on your team as part of the group right now until you switch over. And it would be Emperor Palpatine, Vader, Nihilus, Scion, and Thrawn. That would be kind of your counter Traya team for now until you get Traya. And you would want Vader to kind of be your fastest, so he can gain a lot of turn meter quickly, gain everybody else a lot of turn meter when he hits with the saber throw, and then hopefully your team will be able to go off. There is a little bit of RNG with that with regards to the turn meter and who kind of goes next, because you might have a bunch of people at full turn meter, especially when you do the AoE and Nihilus gains a bunch of turn meter because dots are on Scion and Traya. But that would be kind of the team that you would run. And I think you could do well with that team.
Especially if you remod it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely need to remod it. So that's going to be a whole separate issue. You want Vader to be your fastest, followed by Thrawn, and then probably Nihilus, Scion, and Palpatine. Normally, Scion you would want a little bit faster, but in this particular case, you want to close that gap, and you want Nihilus to be able to go after as soon as possible after he does the saber throw. And so getting Nihilus a little bit extra turn meter may help you. So I would go in that order in terms of modding.
Okay. Because right now I have my fastest set on Nest.
Right.
Because I threw her in there just to try to see what I can do with her.
You have a fast set on Nest. It is not your fastest set.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at your mods, you can get faster on Enfys.
Big time.
Did you? I don't know if you watched the video on how to optimize like speed mods and everything that I put out, but did you do that process in order to mod your Enfys?
No, I've just been kind of fooling around with like the mod, like creating like sets and stuff like that, and I've accidentally been pulling stuff off that shouldn't be pulled off, and then I'm looking at reading like I was just in a TW and I was like, oh god, they're not modded right, and and that wasn't good.
No.
Right. Yeah, so you can go ahead and I mean, if mod, right? Your speed on Enfys will probably go up at least about 5 or 6 speed, if not more, just kind of eyeballing it here. So I think you can do a lot better than what you're doing. Even simply enough, right? Just looking at your mods, and let's just assume most of them are in the correct spot. Thrawn has a 21 speed set square, and your Enfys has a 15. So just switching those two will give your Enfys 6 extra speed.
Right. Okay.
And if you look at like all of your other mods, you can probably get a faster set somewhere else as well. So I think you can get a little bit better speed. We would have to go through and mod a little bit, but just keep that in mind. Enfys is fine. She's good. You do want to get her fast. The only thing is it depends on your arena shard and how fast your Enfys is versus the opposing either Thrawn or Enfys, which is usually what you're facing. And is yours faster? Because if yours is faster, then you do the turn meter reduction, and then your team gets a huge buff. If it's not, then everyone gets dazed. Now your Nihilus isn't going to gain turn meter, and everything's going to start falling apart.
Then you blame Finn. See the pattern here? Blame Finn?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's your arena team. So go with that. Remod immediately.
Yep.
So that's step 1. Step 3, make profit. Okay, we're done with your roster review. So I think we've done a good job here today. So let's start filtering from the top. Let's see. That's not what I wanted to hit. I hit Jedi. God dang it. I want resistance. Let's do this again.
So are you fully free to play, or do you spend some money on this game?
I spend some every now and then.
And what do you typically spend it on? Like the $10 packs, or
you be spending that $350 on those crystals, Finn?
Yeah, I usually buy the $10 packs, and anytime like a marquee comes out, I usually just buy the pack just because I never know if that character is going to be viable or not. So I just put it on there, and bam, I'll go ahead and take the ability mats and stuff like that. I typically don't use it on them. I'll use it on other characters that I'm trying to work up. I have a very generous job, and they hand out iTunes gift cards every now and again, and I use those to help fund the Crystal Fund.
No, you're not spending that $350 on no damn worthless characters. Shut up, woman. I guess I ain't gonna get bad at like this monster. All right, looking at your resistance, solid. You got a solid phase 1 team.
Trooper. Are you pushing resistance trooper to gear 12?
Yes, that's what I'm working on right now. I have 5 shards away from Hermit Yoda, so I was going to ask you guys, who do I pull out for my phase 1 team to put Hermit Yoda in?
How quick does your guild do the heroic set, in particular phase 1? In terms of time-wise, like when it opens and people are allowed to attack, how long does it typically take for phase 1 to go down?
I don't know, maybe an hour.
Okay, and are you typically active during that time period?
I am lucky enough. The only time, so I'm more active on phase 1 and 2 than I am on 3 and 4.
Okay, the reason I ask is because Hermit Yoda is good over Scavenger Ray. In that squad. Resistance Trooper I like better than Scavenger Ray as your kind of your DPS character in your 4th spot, because his special can dispel. So when BB-8 does his special and everyone gets all of those buffs, if Nihilus goes in between, he steals all of those. So you want to have at least 2 dispels. One is Jedi Training Ray, but she you also use for turn meter control, and then Resistance Trooper helps to dispel. So he's who I would say you want in your 4th spot. In your 5th spot, a gear 11 Scavenger Ray can work really well as well. But here's the problem. It's going to be a little bit more RNG because this team is now reliant more on damage output versus if you put a Hermit Yoda who gives you a little bit more survival. And so the reason I asked you about the time period is if you didn't have a lot of time to get RNG, Hermit Yoda would be better.
Okay.
Just simply because he would be an easier person to get whatever damage you're looking for. You could probably get 4% pretty easily with Hermit Yoda. You could probably push 5%, but you can get 5% with the Scavenger Ray as well, but you need some additional time in order to get it done. So I would say if you have the time, just stick with Scavenger Ray. Make sure that her damage and speed is high, and then just get her going on that team, and you should be fine. Hermit Yoda, you need to make sure he's alive for phase 2. You can use him repeatedly in phase 2, but if he's dead, then your teams start to fall apart a little bit. So you want to try and avoid having to lose him. So I would say go with just save Hermit Yoda for phase 2. Otherwise, you also have to worry about RNG in phase 1. If you use Hermit Yoda, now you have to make sure he also escapes. And the problem is sometimes when Nihilus does his AoE, Hermit Yoda will die if you don't get like a stealth off or something like that.
Well, his Hermit Yoda's 6-star gear 11, so he got some work to do there. Where's your Wampa at without me having to look?
Not even farming it. I went all in.
So we're looking more of a Shotgun Leia team. Phase 2.
Okay. So yeah, so he doesn't have Wampa, which means he's pretty much stuck with Shotgun Leia.
He's got the team
Gear 11
for it.
Leia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Shotgun Leia team for phase 2.
So bright side for you, you don't have to worry necessarily about saving any characters between the Wampa team and the Princess Leia team. So your team is pretty solid right here, which is Akbar, Leia, Hermit Yoda, Kenobi. So those are going to be your solid 4. In your 5th position, you could go a couple of different ways. The first one I would go with is Sabine in order to get armor shred over Thrawn. The main reason for not going with Thrawn's fracture is really nice, but one of its abilities is it prevents counterattacks, right? But Leia stealths. So when Leia attacks, she's not going to be triggering any of his counterattacks anyways. And so if you can get armor shreds, that's going to be a little bit more consistent damage for you. Plus, when Kenobi does his lead the charge, he will call everyone. Now, here's the one downside. One of the things you might want with that team, if you run Sabine, is a weak Sabine, as weird as that is. And that's because Sabine can die early once you get off a couple of armor shreds. Sabine is a rebel. And so under an Akbar lead, she also has a chance of being pulled for the call to assist. So what is your, I have to look, what is your Sabine's gear level right now?
She's not even 7-star.
Oh, that makes it easy then. Then you're with Thrawn. Hooray!
Do you have Salbar?
I'm guessing
it's
not.
a good substitute because he's not
I don't.
a rebel, so he won't.
Yeah,
be
I'm guessing if he has
treated
a
by
5-star Sabine, he doesn't have a 7-star Zalbar.
Facts.
Oh, you never know. That's why I asked.
So your team will be.
Kenobi's not 7-star either.
Oh, your Kenobi's not? I thought I saw him. Where was he?
6-star.
6-star. How close are you to 7?
2 more raids.
Okay. So you can still kind of prepare for that, work on Kenobi's gear, and get him up, because he's going to be very useful for you in Phase 2. So getting him to 7-star and geared up will be a major help for you. And he's actually not really bad to get to gear 12 either. Mm-mm. So you can go ahead and focus on that. Then that would be your Phase 2 team. Then in terms of another
Phase 3 mix.
Well, we can look at more. He said he doesn't have a lot of time in Phase 3 for Phase 3 and 4.
Well, he's got the team.
I usually,
because his Night Sister team for Phase 4 is
absolutely despise Chex Mix though. That's the thing. I hate running it.
There's a lot of things we don't like to do. I don't like to have to do shows with Finn, but I do it anyway. So, your Night Sisters, you just need your Talia, your Oldaka. Need to work on Acolyte. Your zombie's fine, weak zombie. So, but
what are the Zetas on his Night Sisters?
2 on Asajj, nothing on Talzin or anybody else.
Okay,
which I was gonna ask you guys on advice on this. Should I do the Mother Talzin lead and then do Phase 3 that way?
That's what I was thinking about with your team. The problem is you do need a Zeta on Daka for that team to really work.
Yeah.
So I would not. The other thing also, there's a lot of new things that are coming the next few months up until we get to December. And they basically hinted at it in terms of legendaries and marquees. So even though they're reasonable like Zetas, I would be very weary of spending any Zeta right now unless you have a really good purpose behind using it. And by that, I mean, if you wanted to do something with your Night Sisters, I am fine with you doing it on Talzin's unique. Talzin's lead is nice, but you have Asajj's lead already that will get you through pretty much every other phase in the game. If you wanted to run Night Sisters in Arena, and because you're facing Jedi Training Raid teams or something, that's fine. If you're running a Territory War offense or defense team, Asajj lead works as well. Now, I favor, me personally, for some of these, I favor the Talzin lead, but again, it's not necessary. Asajj's lead is really good as well. So I would just hold off on spending Zetas right now, just because there's stuff coming, and Jango actually looks really good, and we'll talk about him tonight, but Jango's kit looks really good and may only require like a single Zeta, kind of equivalent to Bastila with Jedi. Could make like a bounty hunters a whole different nuisance in territory wars and stuff, and that may be a better usage of Zetas. So yeah, I wouldn't do Talzin's lead. If you wanted to do one on Talzin, I would do her unique, but even that I would just kind of hold off right now.
Okay.
You hate Chex Mix mainly because of the RNG aspect of it?
Yeah, and then like, I was like seeing all these big damage, Night Sisters teams that's doing like 8 million. I was like, well, shit, I don't have to. Oops. I don't have to.
Oh no, you use
right
potty language. Oh no.
We've never said such things on these streams ever.
I was thinking if I just run that team, then I'm in the top 10 already.
Yeah, but for that one, you really do need 2 more Zetas. Or 3 more Zetas. You would need to double Zeta Talzin and get the one on Daka, because that really puts the team together. The survival of Daka ends up being really important for that team, because when you're down to pretty much only Asajj, Zombie, and Daka, then you're kind of just moving forward with that. So that's why, I would just hold off on that. I would try and work on Chex Mix a little bit. I'm guessing, though, you haven't focused your mods on Chex Mix. Would that be correct? Like, have you put a bunch of offense stuff on them?
Yeah, I haven't really done too much. I was just trying to get the speeds right and trying to figure out like how to get the speeds correct and have the offense there too as well.
Gotcha.
Well, you need the Zeta regardless on Mother Talzin, so kind of a moot point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a
but your Chex Mix is good. I think you just need to work on the mods a little bit. You can get speed is definitely like the most important, and then the next most important would be starting to work on getting them higher offense. And so I think if you wanted to work on your Chex Mix could do a lot of damage, and that would be a solid attacking squad for you. The other thing, and taking a look at your bounty hunters to see where is your Greedo. And your Greedo is 7-star, but level 50 and gear 6. So your Greedo is definitely not ready, but potentially he's another character for phase 3 if you wanted to run kind of a different style type of team that's similar, and I'm sure you've seen it, but is based on Greedo counterattacking, or not counterattacking, but multi-attacking with repeated crits.
Just in general perks, you need to work on your Imperial Troopers. Looking at those right now, it's like, no. They're all 7 stars, but only Death Troopers gear 11. And they're kind of important for territory wars and other things. And pieces of these guys go into different places that you can use for the Sith raid as well. So that's another thing to work on. I mean, so looking at your roster, I'm seeing that you've done the right farms and stuff. It's just a lot of it's gear, right?
Yeah,
and levels, and then
gear
just
grind.
And then just putting your arena mods in the right place. So I really think that
he's in a really good direction right now.
Yeah, you're in a good direction. Yeah, I think you're doing the right things. It just it is the grind, and I would not give up on arena. If you remod your team and stuff, if you can get to the top 100 before you get Treya, that's a win. And you can easily do that with your mods and stuff, and doing your 5 battles a day or 10 battles a day, right? And easily climb up to the hundreds. And then once you unlock Treya, then the world's your oyster, because you don't need a 7-star Treya to compete with those, or to compete with the 7-star Treyas. You know, you'd have the roster as long as you have really good mods. You can beat any Treya team, can beat any other Treya team. Period.
All right.
You know.
There's little tricks you figure out, right? Because the biggest thing, and this is to anyone that's listening and having issues with like a Treya versus Treya and all that kind of stuff, right? The biggest problem is who the opposing Treya isolates, and you don't want that isolate hitting your Nihilus. The problem is if you're putting a lot of debuffs, or if you're getting a lot of debuffs, then your Nihilus is gaining hit points, and Treya isolates the person that has the most hit points with her isolate. So if Treya does her isolate early, she'll more likely than not hit your Scion or Sith Trooper or a character like that. If you wait a while, then Treya is going to hit Nihilus with the isolate. And so that's usually what kills people if they're not careful, which is that a isolate hits your Nihilus, and now he's going to slow down, not gaining the turn meter. He might not get his annihilate up as quick. So that's what you always need to be wary of. So when you get to your Treya, just keep that in mind in terms of the combat. Like who gets isolated by the opposing Treya will more likely than not determine who's going to win the match.
And then blame Finn.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
But overall,
blaming Finn is a standard.
Yeah, you're in a great spot. So we've covered Heroic Sith. We covered some of your teams. Definitely Arena. We covered with your mods. What else are you looking for, my friend?
I think you kind of already touched on it, which was like some of the TW stuff. Which there's a couple teams that I still are underdeveloped just because of gear. Like I have the stars and stuff like that. I grinded that out, and I don't know. Advice-wise, is it better to kind of gear and star at the same time, or?
Well, so pick a team, finish it off. Like you want to do Night Sisters, fine, go finish Night Sisters. Gear 11, make sure they have the Zetas. Then go do First Order. Gear 11, have the Zetas. Then go do Imperial Troopers, put the one on Veers. Get them to Gear 11, right? This allows you to be more competitive. Right? It's like Resistance. You want the Finn team. You want to make sure you have a fast Poe. I mean, these are the things that you have to do to be to have a shot at territory wars and territory battles. Because when your characters are those levels are higher, you know, you've got the speed, the damage, and a chance to defeat what you're facing at the time. You know, it makes it harder when they're lower level, right? It can be done, but chances are you're not going to do as well. You know, gear is what it is. You know, star levels is not as important as gear, right? Because, you know, I only have a 5-star Emphas Nest. I'm working on to get her 6 stars, but you know, I can run her in with any team I choose. I've got her gear 11, and I've got a ton of speed on her, so she's really effective. That's a team win for me, right? So, you just understanding, you know, picking a team. So right now, let's go finish Night Sisters first, right? Remod your arena team, go finish Night Sisters, get them gear 11, and work on those Zetas for Towson, right? Then go pick your Troopers or First Order. I don't really care which one you do. Just pick one and focus your farm on that. Gear 11 Zetas, right? And then, you know, and if you got the gear 11 done on the First Order, but you don't have the Zetas, then go do the gear 11 for your Imperial Troopers. Same thing with your Resistance. You know, you've got to do this, you know. This will help you tremendously in a lot of ways. We preach this all the time. Stay on target.
Yep. Almost there.
Just a little further. So you're on the right track, my friend. Don't get discouraged and don't give up on Arena, man. You can easily compete. If you just remod and use the team that we recommended, then you can easily compete and do much better in Arena, and that'll increase your flow of crystals and other things, and then you can start. It's just a trickle down effect. Once you get your Arena locked in, then you just keep rocking and rolling with that, and then it just move your way down to each team, right? As you get better mods on your Arena team, then you start throwing them on your next team, the mods you previously had, right, and getting those sets, and then you just take it from there.
Got it.
And the blood will flow from the non-believers. All right. Anything else?
No, I think I'm good on that stuff. I'll start. I'm actually working on my arena team right now.
All right.
And are you saving gear for Treya? Just wondering.
He's
I
a
was
ways
going
away.
to. Yeah, I was gonna say like once I was like maybe like 5 raids away, I would start working on that. We do about 2 raids a week.
Okay, so that's
It's gonna
good.
be a few weeks.
You do need to work on your Kenobi, right? That should be like one of your first priorities.
Yeah.
The other thing though, just to remember, she needs a crazy amount of droid collars. She also needs a crazy amount of Carbantis and stun guns. So even if you're not necessarily saving all of your gear for her, I would at least
droid
start
collars.
kind of tracking. Yeah, start tracking at least what you need, and if you need to use it on other characters, that's fine. But just, I guess, make sure you have an idea about what she needs, because she does need a lot of droid collars. If I remember correctly, it's 4 droid collars in order to get to gear 11. So, and then like a crazy amount of those blue balls, which you can buy from the guild store whenever they pop up. So you don't necessarily want to wait until like 5 raids, because that's only about 3 weeks. And there's a lot of, unfortunately, like everything else, there's RNG as to what's going to show up in the guild shipments. So you may want to start buying like the blue balls and stuff early, depending on I know you're working on Wampa, so you don't want to necessarily spend it, but potentially if you're really far away on the stun guns aspect, you could buy the salvage from your guild event store, stuff like that. But at least I would say start to take a look at it, even if you're not actively saving, so you know what you need.
Okay.
Because you do want to try and get her gear 11 double Zeta as soon as she's up, and that will help.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well,
Thanks,
hang
guys.
out with us, Perks, for the next half hour while we get retarded. We do it all the time. That's
a lie. We are never retarded.
Okay.
I'm gonna go hug my porg.
Okay. Go suck your thumb, fan. You want me to change? Someone get you come change your diaper?
I can change my own. Thank you very much. The adult diapers slide on and off.
That's not true.
Adult diapers, you can do it
video
yourself.
Documentation of this.
I'm not only a spokesperson, I'm also a user.
Okay, Hermit Fulgrim. Question: is my boss Zeta lead obsolete now?
No.
It has its use. I think that'll be better for territory battles. I still like boss for territory battles and that kind of stuff. I think territory wars is probably going to shift a little bit more towards Jango, but that's yet to be seen. Both can be viable, I think.
I don't know. After looking at Django's kit, I think that he's more for offense than defense. I think he won't hold on defense.
Oh, I love.
We'll have to see how his AI works.
Yeah, his AI is going to be important, but man, his contract is super easy, and then basically the ability to give every bounty hunter an extra life. To me, that's like it shouts territory war defense and a nuisance to kill. Because my guess, and we'll have to see how this works, the contract will reset on every match. So even if somebody goes in there and kills a bounty hunter once and it like resets, right? I think the next match they'll be able to go in and re-trigger the contract and you'll have to kill it again. So I don't think it'll carry over like you've already used it once. In which case, then that would be a nuisance.
I don't know. All I see in that is Imperial Trooper fodder with revives.
Are you leaving for work?
Since most of the bounty hunters are pretty darn squishy.
I'm getting here.
Can you take the dog out?
What?
Someone's getting yelled at.
And that was the last we saw of Perks.
Guys, it can't be too easy. Question: can we have a hurricane party at Finn's house?
No. It's only available to McVenom and Ouchie and Zabiff.
Strange that those are only women that were invited. I don't understand.
I don't know why. It's a coincidence.
It's a coinky dinky.
Good old Maurice. Question: with all the recent stuff, does Cad Bane move up the bounty hunter priority list?
I already loved Cad Bane. I was saying it before. Cad Bane under Kira is still my favorite. I still don't know if he's best under.
I don't know
like
if he moves up. I don't know. I don't.
I already moved him up after the rework.
He's better, but I don't think he's like.
And his ship. His ship is actually pretty decent.
Drop your socks and grab your something and get going on it. No.
Well, his ship is really decent, though.
Yeah, his ship looks pretty awesome, but originally I was like, the rework, but after talking with Van Seal, who has him at Gear 12, and talking to him about how he works, I'd say he's up there. He can stun lock pretty much anybody, which is a very, very nice ability.
He's the scoundrel Rose Tico. Next question.
Ski Trooper, question: preferred setup on Bastila Territory War Defense. I'm between 2 Yodas and 2 Bens and 2 Yodas and 1 Ben plus Zeta Ezra. If it is 1 Ben, which Ben?
Well, it would be the 1 Ben that you aren't using.
God. Kenobi is better than old Ben, but you don't want to use Kenobi if you have a Zeta Bear. So if you don't have a Zeta Bear, put in Kenobi. If you do have a Zeta Bear, save GK to work with Zaris and put in old Ben. Then you want both Yodas, and then you want Ezra.
So if you're using, if you have Zaris, you use a Ben. But if you don't have Zaris, you use a Ben.
Correct.
Trevor Christensen, question: would a Jango Fett lead with Kira, Enfys Nest, Boba Fett, and Bosk be the most effective anti-Treyarch scoundrel team? Turn order would be Enfys first, Kira second, Jango third, Boba fourth, Bosk fifth. The goal of the team would be to take away lots of turn meter. Plus 30 speed from Jango makes Enfys Nest really fast, and so is Kira, who inflicts AoE stagger.
Possibly. We'll have to see how his kit and Zam's rework, goes. Because while, the Game Changers videos are awesome and all, we don't know how they're going to work in our game. On accounts that don't have good mods.
I mean, there's certain things. So so I was thinking about this the other day, right? Jango is a big deal against Traya because he gives 30 speed to all scoundrels. That includes Enfys. And when Enfys goes first, she can do an AoE turn meter removal and a daze. So getting Enfys to go first is huge. I know that they dispel everything, but that's really not the point. The point is to get the daze so they don't gain the additional turn meter. So I was thinking that the combination of Jango and Enfys could work really well against a Traya team. The problem is the rest of the scoundrels and the bounty hunters don't have a very good kind of a control of the match. But there are characters that can do well without having the need to have like a particular lead. In particular, the combo of Nihilus and Scion, I think you can potentially throw under a Jango team, and they would work very similar to the way that they're already set up. And then you throw in like a character like a Thrawn for more control, and you can maybe control the match that way. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But I have to, I'm thinking it's Jango, Enfys, Nihilus, Scion, and Thrawn may end up being a counter to the Traya team. But again, that's something to test out. And if I remember correctly, I have to double check all of these because I only watched like the videos, and sometimes you can't see it very clearly on those. But I think Jango's lead requires a Zeta, right? I think it's a Zeta lead, but I don't.
I think it is. Let me double check real quick.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that his unique and his leader are his 2 Zetas. I just don't remember for sure, but I'm fairly sure those are it. So the fact that he gives
yes, on both of those, his unique and his leadership are Zetas.
Okay, so you would want a Zeta on his leader in order to get that, and then you can speed up your Enfys, then your Enfys can go first. So that could be the counter that happens with scoundrels. Well, it's not a full scoundrel, right? It's 2 scoundrels and then a hodgepodge. But I don't know if a full scoundrel team is the way you would want to go. But it would be interesting to see.
I don't know. Personally, I think Jango's going to work best under a Kira lead. But that's just me.
It may. Kira is just an awesome scoundrel leader in general. That's why I don't want her under a leader of somebody else. Like, it's Her leader
Her
is
is amazing.
fantastic. But Jango's is too. Whenever you can give 30 speed to a faction like Scoundrels, and you have somebody like Enfys that's like a powerhouse and they're able to go first, which is huge, I mean, it can change the complexion of a match pretty easy.
True.
So it's very interesting.
Trevor Christensen, question: with thermal detonators uncleansable, could Boba Fett lead work with Zam be viable now? Zam is the second fastest character in the game, and the AoE spread of TDs would give bounty hunters a plus 75 speed boost.
Yep.
We'll have to see what they change with the mechanics of thermal detonators, though. Usually when they put the cannot be dispelled tag on debuffs and buffs, they remove the this is a buff or debuff from that. So it might not work the way we want it to.
Yeah, that's true, but they still may it's still going to do so much unavoidable damage at that point. It's going to be sickening.
It's going to be most entertaining.
Which actually, in a sense, is going to make Jawas a little bit more viable as well.
Jawa Scavenger, man.
Yep. So if you don't know, Jawa Scavenger is unique once you Omega it. Basically says any Jawa that's attacked has a chance to place a thermal detonator on the person attacking it. And so if you get like a tanky as hell Jawa and people are attacking it, they're just going to be stacking thermal detonators on themselves.
Oh,
it's
dude,
crazy.
I was thinking you do bounty hunters under Zam lead, because it's every time a bounty hunter gets hit, they put a thermal detonator on, and then put Jawa Scavenger in there to where after they have a bunch of thermal detonators, you throw his bomb and detonate them all.
Oh yeah, you could do that as well. I was thinking just pure Jawa faction, but yeah, that's also quite possible. And then Jawa Scavenger can stealth himself, and so you won't be able to hit him either.
There's lots of possibilities with this thermal detonator rework.
Yep, we'll have to see how the damage though, because if you stack a lot of thermal detonators, you could completely wreck somebody because it's like straight percentage damage. So it would be interesting to see how that works.
Oh, and my bad, Zam's lead is whenever they use a special ability, they put a thermal detonator.
Okay.
Deliason, question: what is everyone's favorite non-meta faction? Mine's Imperial Troopers, of course.
Voltron.
I am loving the prospect of Scoundrels right now. I love their overall kits. They're still not going to be meta, but I love the way that some of their abilities can kind of be used like between each other, even if they're not all Scoundrels from like the same era. Like you have the solo Scoundrels and you have the bounty hunter Scoundrels. And then you have the KOTOR Scoundrels too. I mean, Scoundrels are fun right now. I think Scoundrels are the most fun faction.
I agree with you, Finn. Scoundrels are one of my favorite.
Captain Obvious, question: can you switch around mods during the territory war attack phase, or is it locked after preview phase? It's locked.
Well, are you asking supposed to be or what it's doing?
They said they addressed that.
Yeah. There's a bug where people were able to change mods. You're not supposed to be able to, but people were. So
if you want to change your mods, change them before you join, or leave and then change your mods and then rejoin.
No. So there's a bug right now, and I don't know if they've finished addressing it or not. But there was a bug where you could go in through the defense phase, set all of your defense and all of that, and then when it's your turn for offense, you would be able to switch mods, and the new mods were showing up on the characters.
Ooh.
It's a bug. It's not supposed to work that way. It was a bug, and it's been reported, I think, for a couple of weeks now, and they said they're working on it. But that's why I was asking, like, are you asking what it's supposed to be or what's actually happening because you've noticed it with people that you're fighting? Because I know some people have noticed it, like all of a sudden some of their characters are way too strong, and it's because they're able to switch mods and kind of mess things up. So, but yes, you're not supposed to be able to.
Doc Arlock, question: what is the gear priority for bounty hunters?
Tanks first, and then other stuff. I don't know which bounty hunters he's working on, because I mean, some of them have ships, so if you want to run ships, I would still say Bosk is probably one of your highest priority bounty hunters, because of Houndstooth as well as his kit. Boba is another one, just a really solid kit overall. Dengar is becoming a lot more useful, so he's another one that you may want to work on, but it depends on what team you're trying to run. But I would focus on tanks first, so you have increased survival.
Yeah, I agree. Though I'm one piece of gear away from Gear 11 Embo.
Nice.
He's so awesome, dude.
1073 question: what will our 2 bounty hunter teams be now with Jango coming out?
I think you're going to see a mix with scoundrels, just so you know. Bounty hunters also have the scoundrel tag. I think they're going to mix it with that.
Well, I think the main ones since they're changing the way thermal detonators work and how they can't be cleansed, you'll probably see the thermal detonator Boba lead team pop up again, and then whatever's left ends up getting put under like a Jango lead or a Singh lead.
We have our buddies from the League of Extraordinary Nerf Herders in the chat too. And yes, Jawas are better, but that doesn't mean to stop what you're doing in order to farm them. None of these are really anything that I would say you have to stop and farm, just so you know. Bounty hunters and all this kind of stuff. They're good, doesn't mean that you should stop like going towards Jedi Training Ray or something.
Dyerson, question: is anyone else gutted that Jango is marquee? Makes me feel like we have been treading water with the scoundrels this summer. A bit sick to my stomach. Your thoughts?
A little.
I'm not.
I'm fine with it being a marquee. That means free mods.
I really could. I mean, he's not a legendary character in my book. Sorry, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean,
as well.
I know I am burned out too on marquees. Sorry, I just am. It's just like, oh god, here we go again. But you know, the fact that he's marquee, so I'm totally cool with it.
I also don't think like BB-8 is a legendary character either, but he is. I mean, it's more for the rarity of the character more than anything else. So, I mean, I'm not thinking of it as, you obviously don't want somebody that's crappy being a legendary character like a Biston or something, but I think BB-8 isn't that much more important as Jango.
I think he's
in
way
terms
more
of
important.
fanfare.
I
think
agree with you.
It's way more. He was
Jango was all of the clones. He is the DNA for all of the clones.
He
like,
lasted
Finn.
5 seconds against Mace Windu.
that doesn't matter. He is the clone.
Oh my god.
He is Spartacus. He is.
No, Finn. You're wrong.
Next question.
Malin87. Question: what would be the lowest acceptable gear levels for a team that could beat the Trail meta teams for Territory War? Magma, OG Resistance, someone else? Any other Territory War tips for trail walls?
Oh, minimum gear level? Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
at least 11. You'd even have a fighting chance.
It also depends on the gear level of the team you're fighting as well.
Not
But
even gear levels, mods.
yeah,
Resistance, your Poe has to go before their team. If your Poe doesn't go before, you're screwed. Just straight up. Like if your Poe does not go up and he doesn't have a high potency, resistance will fail.
land his shit. You know, he can go first, but if he can't land,
he needs potency and speed. So you can easily get screwed with resistance. Thrawn Magma Trooper is a little less gear resistant, but you do need to make sure your Magma Trooper is fairly well geared, otherwise it'll be an issue. And Danger Zone is all gear and mods. It's freaking all gear and mods.
Kazakaki, too easy. Question: how do I blame Finn for losing a Territory War? Well, I think he just did.
Finn.
You just did. Damn it.
I blame Finn as well.
Darth Hideous. Question: is everyone winning Territory War? Last I checked, we're losing by like 20 or 30 points because we can't take out their ships.
We were down and I was spazzing out, but now we're gonna win. I spazzed out for about an hour there because I was like, why are people not attacking? We have more than this. We need to attack. We can win this. This would be the worst loss if we lost this. And it's like, okay. And then we ended up coming back and doing what we needed to.
We're losing by 1 territory, and I blame Finn.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But Oh no, we're only gonna get one less Zeta. I'm heartbroken.
Before we go to the next question, I want to make one quick announcement here. Penny Pinch messaged me last night. If you guys weren't here, he was in the hospital yesterday getting checked out for a possible heart attack and stuff. So he was scared. So he said he did not have a heart attack. It turned out that he had an ulcer, and so he's just waiting back for test results. But he's doing okay. I told you, usually the heart attack symptoms tend to be something GI related. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, if I remember correctly, Gallagher said that the first time he had a heart attack, it felt like he needed to fart really bad, and it ended up being a heart attack.
Gallagher, the guy that broke watermelons?
Yeah, yes. That guy,
I like the watermelon guy. He had to skull it. It was awesome. I miss him and breaking watermelons. I want to do that Can we do that some?
Yeah.
We need a stream where we just break watermelons with a mallet.
Have fun.
But yeah, get well soon, Penny Pinch.
Yes, Mr. Penny Pinch. Reach out to me when you get a chance, buddy.
Paul Bracamonte, question, what do I do with my 4-star Gear 11 Enfys? Should I Zeta her?
Yeah.
If you have the Zeta suspend,
11,
yes.
Yeah. Depends on what your
her
other
Zeta
is.
Nice.
Andrew Sweeney, question, are all thermals becoming a locked debuff or just Zams? All of them.
It's becoming locked. We don't know if they're taking away the debuffed or not. We'll see tonight when they do the patch notes, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Rose, question, how is Ranger enjoying the dark side meta? I remember the days of Ranger crying for the dark side to be better.
I enjoy it very much. I wake up and go, another day of dark side.
Okay, Ranger, speaking of that, let me ask you a question here. Because you just said you don't think Jango is worthy of a legendary, right? What if there is a legendary at the end of this month that's going to be Dryden Voss that requires the solo characters?
Well, I don't agree with it either, but then it's not my game. I'm just saying from my perspective who qualifies as a legendary and who doesn't.
Okay.
Well, as far as bounty hunters,
Dryden Voss does not deserve a legendary either. Now Darth Maul would. But he's a way more developed character that is really in the heart of the fan base. Certain characters like that they're legendary and journey characters, and then there's the rest. Sorry. That's just the way I see it. Yeah, but
Dryden was a crime lord, dude.
I don't care if he was Mr. Potato Head of the galaxy.
I think that's where the differentiation is, though, and it's fine. The question is,
I'm not saying that they're not important characters, but
no, not that. I think the definition of legendary is where there's confusion, because I think you're seeing it as their status in the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
Versus, I think what they're looking at from the game perspective and calling it legendary is just the rarity in which you're getting these characters.
I don't think so.
Because all of the characters are just a little bit rarer to get, and so I think that's the only major thing.
They are
right?
rare to get because they're legendary characters.
But why would you not consider Vader a legendary character?
Well, they introduced him in the game. I mean, you can definitely.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, right? But they introduced these characters,
and that's a
and there's a lot of
argument.
potential legendary characters.
Oh yeah, that's a very fair argument. That he just was not. I mean, they put him in a way that was not. I mean, we didn't even have legendaries when the game first came out. The only way you could get Vader was, you had to earn him through completing all the quests and stuff. That was just a decision they made. But I guarantee you, if Vader was being introduced to the game, he'd either be a legendary journey character, So,
what if it's Mechano Maul though?
Well, yeah, but Maul is a well-renowned character. I mean, that just ties into everything. Dryden
So he would be
Voss.
more worth of a legendary than Voss would,
Oh,
in your
absolutely.
opinion,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
But there's already a Maul in game, right? So that's
Well,
why
we have 5 Han
Dryden-
Solos, so that goes out the damn door. Let me give you that crap argument.
No, but see, that's why I think it's going to be Dryden as your legendary. Not necessarily because he's a legendary character per se, but if you look at the way they've done the Journey characters, right? The Journey has required 4 characters plus a legendary.
From a marketing
And I
perspective
think-
on this game, how are you going to sell that?
I think it's going to be Dryden is going to be needed to get Maul later on in a Hero's
The
Downfall.
fan base is going to go ape bananas.
Nobody cares. I don't think people will care, honestly.
For a legendary character, no, they won't care about him, period. They're not going to make any money.
People will go based on the kit. If his kit is good, people won't care.
Yeah, they will if they have to use a character that they really have no interest in. There's a difference between Maul, Mechano Maul, and Dryden Voss. There is a fan base out there for that.
There is, but Mechano
not-
Maul could be your Hero's Downfall journey that requires you
It
to
could
get a
be
Dryden
journey
Voss
character,
legendary.
but you're not going to convince me that Dryden Voss is a legendary character in any sense of the
Well, I know,
word.
but that's because we're looking at legendaries differently. You're looking at it from the Star Wars universe. I'm just thinking about it as a rarity and saying, okay, we can use Dryden in order to get a Maul. Maul is a Hero's Downfall. Then we need a legendary character. We have the solo character set up, so let's just make Dryden a legendary because he's going to require 5 solo
You're
characters to get.
separating these out, Finn, and they're not separate. The characters are not only legendary because for game mechanics, but because they are super popular characters, right? They are in the mythos of Star Wars and for the game itself. That is why.
But you
they
can
are
say that
legendary.
about a lot of characters that have been in the game for a while already, though.
Like who? Vader?
I mean,
Vader's
I
already
said
in. I mean, that's
the way they're running KOTOR. You could have done this for any of the KOTOR
none of
characters.
the KOTOR characters. You could have made the case maybe for Bastila, but
You could have done it for Nihilus.
Nihilus.
well, yeah,
Nihilus.
but they did Nihilus a different way. You know what I'm saying? So
They did him as
but
Marquis. But that's what I'm
Nihilus is
saying.
not a legendary in a sense. You could make the argument that the Sith Triumvirate, although popular, are not legendary status. There's a big difference between the Sith Triumvirate and then Malak and Revan. There's a big difference between some of the Jedi and Sith from the Old Republic era and Malgus.
Yeah,
and
Scourge and Malgus, yeah.
that's a different level of character. Those characters are part of the game. They're known. They're part of the comics and the books. You know, that's how I kind of look at it. It's the popularity of the character that warrants them being a legendary that you have to go and try to get other characters and stuff to get them because they are that important, not just in the game, but for the mythos of Star Wars itself. The two are not intrinsically different.
Mm.
I don't know. I guess I do see him as different, but I understand both sides. I just see it different.
And you're not. I'm not saying you're wrong either. I'm just saying from my perspective, that's how I.
Yeah,
view it.
no. I understand. Like
I'm
I
not
said,
saying
I'm
you're
not
wrong,
saying,
but from
I
my
wouldn't
perspective,
say-
you're wrong.
No. I'm saying.
No.
No. My perspective is that's how I see it. I'm not saying I'm right either. So there's the difference. You know, I'm not saying
Yeah,
Finn's wrong
it's just
and
we
that I'm
disagree
right.
on what we're looking at when we see the legendary, but we understand where the other one is coming.
No, I changed my
from,
mind. Finn's wrong. I hate Finn. He's a dork.
I blame Finn.
What was I thinking?
No, because I mean, like, just
What was
a
I? I'm
simple
sorry.
thing.
I
Like, I would've
apologize to
thought-
the fan community. I forgot it was Finn. I should have realized.
Yeah, I know. Too late. You can't take back. Next
Damn
question.
it, Jim.
Ski Trooper, question: my daughters both love porgs. Can I blame Finn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should embrace it. It's just awesome.
Nathaniel Miller, question: anyone else having nice thoughts about using territory defense or TD teams in Darkside TB? No more pilots cleansing them.
We have to see how it works out. I'll just put it that way. It looks, anytime you get something that's non-dispellable, it looks like it may be pretty interesting. But again, we need to see how it works out and how much you can stack. So, yeah, we'll have to see.
Kashmir, question: do you think that they will have a bounty hunter legendary, and if so, who?
Not now.
Mm-mm.
Well, if they do one in the future, I hope it's Dirge.
You said doo-doo.
You know, I mean, who here knows about Dirge?
I know about him.
I know. I don't know a lot
The
about
dude
him.
that got stabbed with a lightsaber and with Obi-Wan's lightsaber and continue to kick Obi-Wan's butt with it still in him.
Yeah,
That's science.
I don't think it'll be this year. Just to give an idea, right? They haven't said it for sure, but based on all the releases and everything, we have an idea about what's coming. So it looks like there is going to be a legendary involving the solo characters coming here soon, and that's what we were just kind of talking about. It could be Mechanimal, it could be Beckett, it could be Dryden, but we're looking at probably a legendary involving the solo tunes now. They're getting ready to push the KOTOR characters into free-to-play, which means probably in December, maybe November, we're looking at legendary KOTOR character. More likely, our guess right now, in terms of like a most likely, is going to be a Malik, leading to a legendary Revan in March when the legendary returns after like 4 months. So I think that's kind of the sequence of things that are happening right now. I don't think they're going to do anything bounty hunter legendary related for this quarter. It isn't to say that they won't or haven't had something planned, but I think Jango was the buildup of all of the bounty hunters. So I don't think that's going to
unless Therm's Scissor Punch was a bounty hunter.
Oh, God.
No, this is all leading to Forlom.
Forlom, that would be cool.
The only other thing that they might drop this quarter, and again, this goes to the Rolo hint, and it's something that we're all kind of guessing at right now.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing. This is pure speculation, guys.
Yeah.
We have no idea what they're going to do.
Well, I think what they're looking at, and this was kind of, they haven't said anything official, but I think a lot of people have been guessing it, is that somehow Padme is coming into the game. There have been 2 theories about Padme right now. One is that the bounty hunters...
You're breaking my heart.
One is that bounty hunters will get you have to use bounty hunters for a legendary Padme. Like, you have to capture her. So that was one thought, and then the other thought was there's going to be a new territory battle on Geonosis, and she's going to be a new character in the Guild
makes a lot more
store.
sense to me. Yeah, that's
what I think also, but I can see it with the bounty hunters too to try and have some build up for it. If you go that way, right, both of those make sense for Rolo, since Padme is the mother and all of that stuff. So either way, I think something Padme related will be happening at the end of this month to justify the Rolo. So I think those are all the new things we're looking at for the next few months of the quarter.
I don't want another light side legendary. Please,
I
no.
want a Midriff Padme to stare at. That's all I care about. Next question.
Captain Obvious question: what if Jango isn't a marquee but a TB/TW reward? Would people be happy with that instead of marquee? Well, the developers have already clarified it is a marquee.
Yeah. Now, what you said may apply to Padme. Padme maybe. I don't think they can do territory war rewards. I don't think that would be smart. I think they just need to leave it in the guild event store, like they did Wampa and Hermit Yoda, and then leave it at that. Don't put rewards with the actual levels or anything.
Okay, I got a question by somebody going by the weird name, Sanely Red.
What the
name? Now that the developers have confirmed the next character is not going to be Marquis, who do you think it'll be?
I don't want to answer this question simply because of the name.
Yeah, I can't justify response on this one.
All right, repeat the question.
Now that the developers have confirmed the next character is not going to be a Marquis, who do you think it'll be?
Oh, yeah. It's either going to be... my thought, it's either going to be Padme as a result of the Bounty Hunter Legendary, which I doubt. I think it's going to be Territory Battle for her. So in that case, I think the next character is going to be Dryden Voss as a Legendary with Solo. But we just had that discussion. It may not be Dryden. It could be Meccano Maul. It could just be regular Maul. It could be Beckett. There's a lot of choices. But I think it's going to be Solo Tune related.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think it is going to be Padme. With Jango and Zam, you'll need those two for the bounty hunters.
Oh, if they make you require Jango, you will piss off everyone. So Jango's going to be coming out this week, and then they release a Padme Legendary at the end of the month. Have fun. 2 weeks to get yourself a 5-star Jango.
Ooh-wee.
That would be awful. God, I hope they don't do that. That would be worse than Thrawn.
Ooh-wee.
No,
Actually, if they were going to do a light side character legendary as the next one, I want them to do that. Serves all you light side lovers right, having to do that. Have fun.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, we still have no idea what the thing is. We got Rolo as the daily login. We still have no idea what that's about.
Yeah, the only thing that we truly know is that the next character is not going to be released by Marquee. Doesn't mean it's going to be legendary.
It's just going to be free for everyone. 7 stars.
It might be all a Chromium only character.
Ah, damn it! My slice didn't get speed.
And they didn't clarify that it's going to be legendary or like one of those journey things. It could be a new TB map.
Yep. Or it could just be a 7-star straight into your inbox. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Thank you for playing this game. Here's a 7-star character. And they give you a Jar Jar.
That would be kind of funny if they did that. That would be kind of amazing, actually.
If they give you a 7-star Jar Jar?
No, not Jar Jar. No, I would not.
That would be the next character.
That would be the only character
Jar
on my
Jar.
roster that would never, ever, ever be unlocked.
I wonder, oh my god, if that's going to be on Ouchie's roster.
I don't care how good he is. I don't care if he's the greatest character ever. I will not unlock that turret. He will sit there unlocked.
I would unlock him.
I could see something like that happening because in the Star Wars card game, 2 of the most powerful cards in the game was Jar Jar and C-3PO.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I bet that's why that game failed.
You're gonna be so
what if the
upset.
legendary was C3PO? Because it's gonna be
I could see
right?
C-3PO.
It could be.
And then that gives us Black Suit Blue.
Sure. Listen, C-3PO. I mean, if they made a legendary for him, I wouldn't. You can't even begin to make the argument against him being a legendary character.
As long as he had an Ewok synergy.
I'm sure.
Or like Nathaniel Morgan says, we could be getting another Bodhi-like character, straight to GW or another store.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
That would piss off people even more, just so you know. They've already come out and said they're not putting anything in those stores.
Right.
And so there's a lot of people that spent all of their
now, if they came out and said in a couple weeks we've decided to start adding more characters to those stores and then put the character in there, we don't know what character it is, then that would be okay. But you can't just suddenly be like, oh, here you go.
Yeah, they have to give the warning first.
Can't.
Revenator, question: if Padme is released without a midriff, can we blame Finn?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Of course. Absolutely.
Who has a jet taken off in the background?
Malin87, did CG ever reveal the original image that they posted as a teaser? No.
No, they didn't. But I'm pretty sure it's just Jango standing with one taser up and then one firing. You can see it in our pic. I'm pretty sure when we did the Photoshop stuff, ours is accurate to what the picture is. But
it's
you still think Chewie, I know, but you're wrong.
I know, but I did a little bit more research. What it is it's right before it's when he lands in the arena getting ready to shoot at Mace. That's why the color is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in a Geonosis type map. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the questions.
All right. So that's all of our time we have for the lunch stream today. Thank you guys for all your questions. Remember, tonight is our big Star Wars Galaxy Heroes show. We do this every Wednesday. It's our big live streaming. It's the longest running live stream for the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes community out there. Around episode 117, 118, something like that. So that'll be tonight. So check it out. We usually have guests. We cover all the latest and greatest news from the past week and updated information to break down for you guys, give us our opinion, and tell you a little bit about what it all means. And then I'll be tonight at Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't checked it already, please go ahead and, if you haven't clicked it, hit the thumbs up. It really does help the channel when you click the like on the videos. Also, if you haven't subscribed and you like the content that we're putting out, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. And if you haven't checked out our Patreon, please check out our Patreon. It's all this stuff is listed below. If you would like to help support us and what we're doing, if you love the content and would like to become a Patreon sponsor, then please check that out. We're almost at our goal. I think we're $31 away from our first goal, Finn. So pretty.
So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm getting there. So yes, thank you all for all the support that you guys have shown us. We really appreciate it. You guys are why we do what you do, because of the community. If you haven't checked out our Discord, if you have a question, come to our Discord. A great community of folks, over 2,000 last time he has checked for me. People there that will answer any of your Star Wars Galaxy Heroes questions, and just a great group of people. It's nice to meet other people that have the same common thoughts and share fun. It's just a fun place to hang out, meet some wonderful people, and get to know your Galaxy Heroes community. That's all we have it set up the way we do. So, on behalf of myself, the crew, and our special guest Perks, who we did his roster review today, thank you all for being here. You guys in that path, that hurricane, get the hell out of there. Seriously, be safe. Look out for one another. We'd like to keep you around for a lot longer as viewers, so please be safe, guys. Our thoughts are with you. So with that, we will end the stream, and we will holler at you folks later. Peace.